a suspicion, and I think I'm correct. You're actually an elemental energy, and that originated from Andromeda Galaxy. You have that kind of frenetic Andromeda Galaxy energy, okay? Andromeda Galaxy is the mother galaxy of the Milky Way galaxy, okay? So it's a separate galaxy. I think when Source split itself off, so you're not of the Lyra line, okay? So you've had incarnations in different systems, but you didn't follow the typical Lyra Pleiades or Lyra Sirian or Vega Sirius or Lyra Andromeda that I see with a lot of starseeds, okay? Your introduction into, I think, your reality was quite a bit different. And I've seen a few souls like yours. I think you're probably even different from some of those, okay? But I'm seeing origination point was Andromeda Galaxy. When Source split itself off, I think it manifested physically into the splitting of Andromeda Galaxy into the Milky Way. You were actually, I think, initially, when Source split itself off, you were actually part of the mother goddess consciousness. Okay. So I think that's why you resonate with that energy so much. Okay. You were supposed to, I think, stay in Andromeda Galaxy because Andromeda Galaxy is the mother galaxy. Okay. But for some reason, somehow you got split off. Okay. And you've been living this kind of parallel, multi-dimensional existence ever since. You were never supposed to be split off, okay? You were supposed to stay. I'm going to send you a star map, and I think it'll make more sense to you when I send the map. It's called the Mayan interdimensional star map. You see omnipresent Source, okay? So you have Source right here. And then you have the Mother God consciousness and the Father God consciousness. And then you have the Hunab Ku, which is Great Central Sun, or what they call the Great Galactic Center, or there's many names for it. The Mayans called it the Hunab Ku. So it's kind of the reblending of that Mother Goddess and Father God energy. You're in this category, okay? So you're in the Mother Goddess category, okay? You were supposed to stay in Andromeda Galaxy, but somehow, and I'm trying to see why, I think separated. And like I said, I think you were involved at this time with birthing the Milky Way galaxy. Somehow, a soul, you're still part of that Mother God energy, okay? But a soul shard of you got sucked in through the Antares stargate and got sent into this galaxy, and you've been kind of bouncing around ever since, okay? And we're going to go over everything, okay, as much as we can. You almost like birthed yourself, okay? I know that sounds really bizarre, but we're in bizarro land. You birthed who you are. You're actually still part connected to Andromeda Galaxy, but the soul aspect of you got sucked into Antares Stargate. The Antares Stargate is one of the two major stargates. So you have Arcturus, which is the Stargate of Souls. Okay, that's the local, what I call the local Stargate. Antares is the portal that connects Andromeda Galaxy with this galaxy. Okay, the Milky Way. Only the highest dimensional souls come in through Antares, okay? Everybody else goes through Arcturus. What happened with you is you got sucked in through Antares. You became separated from your original group consciousness, okay? You felt very alone. You didn't know where to go. You ended up, I think, going to Galactic Center, which is actually incidentally, you want to hear something very bizarre? Galactic.
Sagittarius and Scorpio.
Yeah, between Scorpio and Sagittarius. Okay.
And I'm an early Sag.
Yeah, that's right. So.
I'm actually an Asclepiades, you know, the constellation of the snake handler.
So I think you as a soul, I think that's why you chose to be born on that date, because it represented home base for you. Okay. Home base for you is actually Galactic Center here in this galaxy, but your home galaxy is actually Andromeda Galaxy. I get a few souls like you, and they all tell me the same thing. I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm frustrated. I've had all these horrible experiences. I keep bouncing around. I keep doing the spiritual work. I'm not going anywhere. I'm reliving the same patterns over and over and over again. It seems to be it's because they're so connected from their frequency. Your frequency resonates so high that I bet you a lot of people don't even see you most of the time. Okay.
I'm negated constantly.
It's like everybody else is here, even other star seeds. Okay. Other star seeds are down here. You're like way up here. You're vibrating at a very, very high rate. Okay. So Arcturian star seeds come close to that, but you're even beyond that. Now you've had incarnations in different systems. Okay. We'll look at all of those, as many as we can. But I think as a soul, you reported to Galactic Center because you didn't, for some reason, you couldn't go back in through the Antares stargate. Okay, it was like once you could come. It was kind of like Hotel California. You can check in, but you can't check out. So it's kind of like that. So you were kind of stuck. Okay, and this also happened to another group of beings from another universe called the Doll people. You don't have the doll signature, okay? You have the Andromeda Galaxy signature. This happens sometimes with certain groups. They get sucked into this galaxy and then they're stuck here and they gotta go through their whole evolution of trying to find their way back home. And I think that's what you've been doing for millions of years. You've been trying to find your way back home. You became, I think, in your process of doing that, you became such a parallel soul that you became multi-fragmented. Okay. What I hope to do with this reading is to help bring some of those fragments together for you. Okay. And I actually would suggest, if you're up for this, maybe an Akashic clearing would really help too. I'm not trying to upsell you on another reading, but it is a very powerful reading for that purpose. So when you reported to Galactic Center, you were such a high vibrational soul. I don't even think because the group consciousness there were a different consciousness. Okay, I don't even think they knew what to do with you. Okay, they were just kind of like, okay, we got this really high vibing Andromeda Galaxy soul. Maybe we'll get her involved with some projects. Okay, so I'm kind of seeing some karmic stuff around you. Okay, like some projects you got involved with. You got involved with the creation of Vega. The Elohim, okay, so you have Elohim energy, okay, because they were just kind of like, okay, what do we do with this soul? We'll lump you in with the Elohim. You can be a co-creator because that's what you did in Andromeda Galaxy. You were co-creating planets and galaxies and stars. I mean, you helped birth the Milky Way. So they figured, oh yeah, that'll be a real good place for you. So so you were one of the beings that created Vega, okay? Now Vega is a star in the constellation of Lyra, but it's a mother goddess consciousness star system, okay, which fits, okay, because you are mother goddess consciousness, okay. So you created these beautiful paradise planets that I think were reminiscent of what you remembered from Andromeda Galaxy. The closest thing I could find, what kind of describes Vega, is the Avatar movie. I don't know if you ever watched it.
And that was one of the most profound experiences of my life was Avatar, and I'm blue and I'm that big. I know my core energetic is a very large, very big-eyed blue being, and Avatar is my number one movie of my life, no question.
Yeah. Well, I think that's what you resonate with because that's what you created.
That makes sense.
And you became your own creation. Okay. So your first physical incarnation was as a Vega being. Okay.
Okay.
Vega beings are very tall, very blue, very magnificent. Okay. So I like to compare Vega beings to like the Indian gods. You know, they're just magnificent, highly spiritual beings. Okay, they're humanoid, but highly spiritual. Okay, so you created this world. Okay, I mean, this was a world that I think you were taking elements that you remembered from Antares and from Andromeda Galaxy, and you were creating this mystical, magical world. And I think you fell in love with your creation so much that you incarnated as a Vega being. You wanted to experience that as a physical being. Okay.
Yep.
So you lived that avatar life. Okay. So until the Draconians destroyed it. All right. Is the huge disappointment that you felt after the destruction of Lyra Vega. Okay.
Yeah.
It was so devastating to see everything that you had worked hard for be destroyed by these reptilian beings that could have cared, give two shits about the integrity and the of the planets, that they just destroyed it. Okay.
Okay, that's what keeps happening to my business. I'm in the midst of the second big destruction by the oligarchs who don't give a flying fig about me, and I'm supposed to put in a $15,000 air conditioner 7 months before I leave my big beautiful monster that I busted my butt to make, and then the second I did, my entire energy system crashed out, so I worked for negative $1,000 a month while having 15 employees and working my ass off to just have it all be taken away and falling apart while I.
This has been like a pattern with you, I think, since Vega, is that you keep butting heads with the same group. Okay. It's the Dark Cabal, the Illuminati, the Draconians, the Orion, Empire. It's always the same group that you keep butting heads against, and I think they know who you are. Okay. I think when they see you, they're just like making a beeline to take you down.
Okay. Oh, weird things. The property manager of the last place, she didn't even speak to me. Within 2 weeks, she was evicting me. She was on me in attack mode.
Right.
What's going on here? Like, I wrote you a nice letter. I'm your enemy number one. Why are you destroying me? And she did.
Yeah, because these people are reptilian shapeshifters, and they've been hunting you down.
I sat there. My mother, who is not this. Afterwards, I was like, Mom, did you see her? She's a reptile. Did you watch her head? Like, did you watch the way she moved her? I was like, oh my God, she really is. She really is a reptile.
And that's because you've been I mean, you're not original Elohim, but you were, lumped in with the Elohim. Okay. So they have it out for the Elohim. I mean, or anybody that's connected with that group. You became so angry that you had to get back at these beings. And I think you figured, okay, if I can't fight them, I'm going to join them. Okay. And I think you did this kind of like incognito.
Okay.
So you.
I know I have draconian blood, but it's also part of my dragon energy. But when I speak, I know it must be draconian. I know it's reptilian. It is amazing. It is so powerful, so natural, and I don't have empathy. I can go there, I can feel it. I don't let it take me over. I make sure I'm the master of it. But it's one of the interesting things that right now is my galactic energy is just gone. That I'm like, oh my God, the draconian energy, the reptilian energy that I have been is really powerful.
Yeah, no, it was dragon energy. It wasn't lower reptilian
No, I am
echelon.
dragon.
Yeah, yeah.
I definitely, and I mean, I can speak it, and I'm just like, oh, that's so great. It
So,
feels so good to communicate from my second and third chakras, because the voice, the language comes from my second and third chakra.
right. Okay. So higher galactic. You're almost like a higher galactic angelic. I would say that's kind of your
Okay.
categorization right now. But um, yeah, I think you actually join the group of beings that eventually became known as the fallen angels. Okay. And it was, I think their intentions were of the light at first, but they interfered too much with, I think, and I think your intention at the time was to try to destroy them from within. Okay. Didn't quite work out like that way. You kind of fell with them. Okay. And you've been kind of paying retribution for this ever since. Okay. In various levels. Okay. And I think what happened was they discovered that your true soul essence, that you were not one of them. Okay. And they have had it out for you because you were kind of like a double spy kind of thing. So they had it out for you ever since. Like, how dare she, infiltrate our ranks, Now, the higher dragon energy is actually not evil, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah,
No. Right.
yeah.
I'm not. I'm deeply and profoundly not evil.
No, and I don't get that about
When
you
I go
either.
into the draconian, I'm like, I don't hurt, but I don't empathize.
Right, right.
I have no need to hurt. I've got anger, I've got fire, I got power. Like, wow. But I really look deep into it. I don't have any evil. I've never had any of that.
No, I don't see
Find that
evil,
anywhere in me.
but I do see vengeance with you.
Okay.
Okay,
And
I do.
not in this lifetime. No more.
No,
And
yeah, not this lifetime, but that lifetime there was some vengeance going
sure.
on.
Okay.
Okay, but it was against them, not against. But somehow I think because you became associated with that group, you're kind of like in the category almost of the Watchers. With Enoch talks about the Watchers, how they were kind of like the fallen angels, but they observe what happens on the planet. That's kind of like your overall energy, but I do see the Sophia connection. I do see Mother Goddess consciousness. I think your true energy is Mother Goddess consciousness. I think Vega was your favorite incarnation because that was of your own creation. Um,
Magical and full of love and light. Yeah.
yeah,
I
yeah,
would. And I'm somehow blocked from it. I mean, I give all of my life force energy to it, but it doesn't give back.
yeah. No, I get that. I think after Vega, after the fall, I think you've spent lifetimes, I think, trying to make retribution by incarnating into multiple star systems. So I see Arcturus, I see Pleiades, I see Orion, I see Sirius, I mean Andromeda. I think you were trying so hard, I think, in each of those multiple lives in order to make retribution for the damage that you felt like you did. It wasn't really intentional on your part. It was just kind of like you got lumped into this group. You stuck it out, so kind of hung out there for a while. You stuck it out. You were just like, you know what? I'm going to try to make retribution. I'm going to incarnate into these positive star systems. And even Orion was positive. Okay, there was positive aspects of. I mean, there's negative and positive. I think about everything, but in Orion, I think you were actually part of the Orion Light Council. Okay.
Somehow I knew, so that's good affirmation. One of the things that I've really come very clear knowledge is that I have been of all the galactic races.
Oh yeah, no, you've been in all of them, all of them.
And somehow I knew that, so thank you for affirming that, because it's just like, nope, I've been every single, and I've never taken myself out of this galaxy, but I know I'm a core divine feminine splinter.
Yeah,
And as I've kind of come into the real, like, okay, so I know the 4,000 year soul story that's human in this one. I figured it all out the day I threw away the Tree of Tamar. My boyfriend was watching death metal chronically, and I was like, gross, 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 I hate this. And I said, but wait a minute, there's something on YouTube here for me. And that's when I found the first channel and the first Galactic. And I've done nothing else since that moment in time, which was 8 months ago, probably.
gotcha. Okay. So that was kind of what awoken you to your true soul self was.
Well, I knew I was a starseed. I mean,
Yeah.
I thought it was Pleiadian. I mean, again, for the last 20 years, I'm like, but really, because of this archetypic stuff, my name is my story, and I'm just like, deep inside, I'm like, this human program isn't me. Well, everybody has to eat. I guess so, but not really. I don't really have to eat. Everyone gets old. What? Not really. I don't really do that, but I guess I'm part of this human thing that I just don't get. I don't feel it. So that's been going on a long time. But
Yeah.
I didn't have any channels. I just knew I was from the stars, and I knew I wasn't human
Right.
for ages. But
Right.
it wasn't until I literally was in the work, doing the work, doing the work, and it was like, this is the Tree of Tamar, the 4,000 year story that I've walked, threw it in the garbage can, came inside within a couple hours, turned on my first Galactic channel, and was like, whoa, I'm home.
Oh, I'm glad you found those that confirmation, and I hope this reading's a confirmation for you
Oh, it
too.
is,
Yeah.
definitely. And again, it's, as I said, to like that you said, you've been every, because I've known, I'm like, part of what made my soul here to do this is because I am a part of all of the galactic nations.
Oh yeah, no, you've incarnated in every single one of them.
Yeah,
Procyon, Alpha Centauri. I mean, even the smaller, not so well known ones. You incarnated into those two, Tau Ceti. I mean, all of them, all of them.
yeah.
I mean, it's like Cassiopeia. I mean, all of them. So you've been, and so I think there's this fragmentation of you that I think I mean, I think you're very aware of it. So I don't think you're like, oh, I'm so fragmented, I don't know who I am. I don't see that with you. I do get that with some parallel souls. Not that with you. I think you're very aware of all your different soul pieces. Okay. And I do think, though, what you do differently than other parallel souls is you concentrate on only one star system at a time. Okay, so it's not like you're getting too fragmented out there because then it gets really confusing when you're a Pleiadian and then you're an Arcturian and then you're on Earth and then you're this and that and whatever, so I think, when you do your multidimensional thing, you're multidimensional within that star system for a while, then you move on to the next one, then you move on to the next one, you move on to the next one. Does that make sense? So I think that's how you keep yourself together. Otherwise, it would be way too fragmented. I am seeing, yeah, Orion Light Council. That was what I think got you connected to Arcturus. You worked the Arcturus Stargate. You were Pleiadian. You were part of the Pleiadian Council of Elders. I think Vega was your favorite, okay, but I think Pleiades was your second favorite, okay. I think you spent a lot of time in the Pleiades because you incarnated into every single star that was in the Pleiades. So whether it be Atlas, Pleione, Taygeta, Alcyon, Merope, Electra, you were in all of them. And because you had such a vast experience with all these different star systems, you were placed in the Council of Elders. That's kind of like the highest level of Pleiadian. That's like the really high level um, Pleiadian Council. That's beyond the Galactic Federation. Okay, so I think you've been in these councils. Why did you come to Earth? Okay, because I've seen incarnations in Sirius. You went through the Syrian mystery schools. You've learned the deep mystical feminine mysteries in Merope. You learned the deep feminine mystical mysteries in Sirius. You went to Sirius B. You swam with the Syrian mermaids. I mean, you communicated with them. I mean, you did it all. I mean, it was just like, I mean, I can't even like describe everything because you and I would be sitting here for hours. Okay, so and uh, and that's why my other clients has had 7 readings. Okay, so but
I understand.
yeah, but I think so. Just to kind of give you like the overall picture, and I don't want to leave out any important details, but I think Earth, okay, I think the reason why you chose to incarnate on Earth was because in your mother goddess consciousness self, okay, that's your true self, your Sophia essence. I think when you reconnect with your higher self, which is this mother goddess consciousness, so you're actually like one step away from source in your true form, okay? So source is like maybe 13th dimension, you're 12th dimensional, okay? I mean, that's your true essence, okay? You're even higher than me. I think when I'm at my true essence, I'm 9th or 11th, okay? So, but you're way up there, okay? So you were taking an overall look at all the body of work that you've done in these various star systems, okay? And you got frustrated because you looked at planet Earth and you were just like, holy shit, what's wrong with this star system? What's wrong with that planet? It was pulling the evolution of everything else down, okay? Because Earth was supposed to be 5th dimensional. It was always supposed to be 5th dimensional. But because of course, the influence of the Anunnaki, the influence from the Orion, the negative Orion forces, the influence from the Draconians, Earth has been kind of been a slave planet, for thousands of years. Okay.
How are the Anunnaki and the Reptilians related? I can't quite work that out within. It's one of the things that right now I'm like, is that Anunnaki energy that I'm feeling and running, or is that Reptilian energy? And what is the difference, and how do they connect?
Okay, that's a very good question, and I can answer that for you.
Right. Well, you're mind blowingly profound. I love you. Thank you so much.
Okay, so here's the connection. Okay, okay, the Draconians were the original, and they have a hierarchy. Okay, yeah, they have their dragons, and then they have their warrior, and then they have their lower level Draconians. They were the original, but during the wars they got spread out too. Okay, so so they were also refugees. Some of them ended up in the constellation of Sirius. Okay, so there used to be 3 Sirian stars. Now there's only 2. So we're kind of getting into some big galactic history stuff here. So what happened with the reptilians that ended up in Sirius is they used to live on Sirius C. Sirius C used to fight quite a bit with Sirius B and A. Okay, I think in an attempt to make a treaty or find some peace within, because I think Sirius C ended up getting destroyed, and then Nibiru got shot off towards our solar system, which is a whole other story. But yeah, so in an attempt to find some sort of peace between the Syrian reptilians and the Syrian humanoids, they merged the 2 royal families from these 2 groups and created a new race which we now know as the Anunnaki. So they're actually reptilian, human.
With the Syrians, and they made the Anunnaki.
Yeah, so the Anunnaki actually originated from Sirius. Okay.
I totally click. I get it. Okay, good.
Thank you. Yeah. So they were a hybrid race, basically from Sirius. Okay.
Got it.
So when Nibiru got shot off towards planet Earth, I think the Anunnaki thought, oh wow, we can make that our new home, and we can become the grand rulers of this planet and do what the hell we want, because they had that reptilian influence in their bloodline. Okay, so that's what, and then they started messing around with the human genetics, which I think you got kind of pissed off about. Okay,
that makes sense.
You were just like, what the fuck? Okay, excuse my language. Sometimes I have to use harsh.
Yep, that would be what I'd say too.
What the fuck? Okay, Earth was supposed to be a fifth dimensional planet.
Yep.
Humans were supposed to have 12-strand DNA. They only have 2 strands. Why? Because of those damn Anunnaki fucking around with the DNA. Okay. And the positive Syrians tried to repair the damage. They weren't able to turn back on the 10 strands that were turned off, but they did manage to at least insert enough of their own genetics into the human race to where at least humans can ascend. Okay, so that's why a lot of us are here, is to help humans ascend, because their ascension has been, I think, diminished for thousands of years. Okay, because of all this manipulation and all this,
the false god, the patriarchy.
Exactly. Yeah.
One energy that says the feminine doesn't exist, isn't important, isn't part of creation, and if anyone intimates that, it'd be violent and destroy.
Okay. So I think what you actually came here to do was to help balance out the energies from being totally patriarchal, which it has been for the last 4,000 or 5,000 years, to that of being more balanced. To have, not to totally wipe out, the divine masculine. That we don't.
It's all about partnership and balance and synergy.
Exactly. Exactly. Yes.
Not opposites. We've got to stop with the polarization and opposite. The duality too. It's all about complementary. It's just relationship complementary. Fifth dimension, third dimension isn't hell and bad and wrong. We need to just get rid of it. It needs to be integrated. It needs to be working together. Unification.
Exactly. So I think that's what you've been doing. So I think, unlike a lot of higher galactic souls, I think you've had a lot of walk-in experiences here on this planet. I think you've experienced these multi-dimensional lives. I think you can probably relate to every civilization, every whether it be Egyptian, Atlantean, Lemurian, Southeast Asia, Europe. I think you've either had walk-in experiences or you've incarnated. Okay. What's going on with you right now is you're in as the mother goddess consciousness representation, or you're in the human representation of the mother goddess consciousness. Okay. You are being targeted big time. Okay.
Yeah.
You are being targeted. And I don't often say that. I don't think this is self-created. Okay. I don't know if other.
No, it's not. The law of attraction stuff. I'm like, stop it. This is not me. I expect to break free. I do the work. I break the free. But.
So this is what happens when people like, larger galactic souls like you and me have to come down to Earth. We have to kind of negotiate with the, like, what I call the lords of karma. Okay. And we have to sacrifice a lot to be here. Okay. So we give up a lot of our power. Okay. And we forget. Okay. We start forgetting. Okay. Because we go through the veil of forgetfulness. And so it takes us like a half a lifetime to figure out, oh yeah, I'm a galactic soul. I'm not even human. I'm just here playing a role. Basically, you're here to bring in the mother goddess consciousness energy to balance out the patriarchy. That's, I think, your main mission. Okay.
I know you're right. You plugged it. I know that deeply, profoundly, with every essence of my being since I went manic on My Name Is My Story 20 years ago.
Yeah. So
Graduated
that's
from college.
so that's what you came here to do. Okay. You've been trying to do that in various ways throughout this lifetime, and every single time you've gotten knocked down. Okay.
Yep.
And it's because it's like playing chess. Every time you move your little chess piece, the little black, the draconian chess piece, or the dark cabal, or whatever you want to call them, they're going to knock your chess piece off. So then you move another chess piece, and they're going to knock that one off. But what we want to do is get you to the point where you're going to be knocking their chess pieces off. Okay.
Right.
I mean, and
And
that's
I
why I think the
tried to do
clearing
it.
is going to help you so much. I mean, it's just going to
Yeah, I
be,
cleared the demi-urge last time, and I got like high fives from the universe, like, good job! And then I came home, and it was just slam, 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 and I was like, when does this stop? I've done my work. I don't even know what to do anymore, because I'm like, I've done it. I've done it all.
oh, I know you've done it all. You've been
I've
doing it
rebuilt the tree of
for,
I've rebuilt the galactic heart. I've had total thumbs up from the universe, and then every time I return from that work, this biggest little city in the world, energetics, does everything it can to negate me and terrify me and torture me and take me down. I mean, I've got pictures of beings calling me the worst thing that ever happened, and if only I could become aware of myself and own my own nonsense, then maybe things would get better. And this is on my public business Facebook page.
yeah.
These are the beings that say I'm the bad guy.
No, because that's what they do. I mean, that's what they do in government. They always make the good guys seem like the bad guys. I mean, and the bad guys look like the shining heroes that's gonna oh, do such great good for this country, but actually they're running the country into the ground. But that's a whole other conversation. But
Yes, it is, and I'm
yeah,
there
yeah, we don't want to go down that rabbit hole. But because we're focusing on your story. But and your story's big enough. I feel like I'm barely scratching the surface. Honestly, I'm just like, you've been the representation of Mary Magdalene. Okay, you've been the representation of Lilith. You've been the representation of Joan of Arc. I mean, you're
I'm a daughter. I am the Sophia.
yeah, you
I'm just going to give you because you can hear this.
okay.
I was the crippled child in I was the 3-month-old baby in Mary Magdalene's womb while she looked up at her beloved dying on the cross.
Yeah.
I have the whole story from A to Z. And then I was born crippled, and then somewhere between the ages of 7 and 11, my mother, the only time I felt any peace in the world is when I was in her arms. Otherwise, my body just hurt. And I was hidden away at the Qumran Essene community. And between the ages of 7 and 11, she had to leave Jerusalem, the Israeli area, because the Romans, and they didn't want anything connected to the Christ energy being there. So she left to the south of France, and I wasn't strong enough to travel, and so I was left behind, and I cried myself to death when she had to leave me. I am the Sophia. I am the downfallen daughter. I am the daughter. But I know that on every level. I have all the stories. I'm 100% consistent, but I promised my redemption story, and it just keeps getting harder and harder, and I don't know how to live between this split between Tamara Marshall, the human being that's just like, I don't know how to work this hard anymore and be negated so much, and this soul story that I'm like, you can't even know that or say that.
I
that is
believe you. I believe you. I see it in the records. You're a soul shard of a higher
yeah,
consciousness.
right,
Yeah. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
But
No, I totally understand that
I
concept.
directly carry the
Well, I hope this little Arcturian can help you bring
oh my
some
god, you've
peace.
been oh my god, this has been so amazing. I mean, just the affirmation, the confirmation, the deeper knowledge, the
You're
even
also, I think, Morgana from the Avalon.
yeah,
I
that would
think,
make sense.
yeah, I think you've also incarnate. I mean, you've been like all these female archetypes. I think in an attempt to bring in the feminine energy, and every single time you've gotten knocked down. Morgana was knocked down by Merlin.
Yep.
Mary Magdalene was knocked down by the Roman Catholic Church. I mean, Lilith was knocked down by Adam. I mean, it was just always. I don't think you ever wanted to fight against
No.
the
No.
patriarchy. You wanted to integrate with it, okay? Just like I think what you're trying to do now, you're kind of like the highest order of the light and also the highest order of the dark.
Yeah.
And so you're trying to integrate that as well, and sometimes it gets to be very, very overwhelming.
None of my earth work gets back. It just gets harder and harder and more work is heaped upon me and I'm like I haven't wanted to be here for the last couple decades, but I'm like, I'll do the work, I'll change the patterns, I'll go in, I'll figure it out, I'll do the magic, and I get all this affirmation, and then all this chronic negation. It's the paradox. It's just the flipping paradox, and it just keeps intensifying, and I'm at my wit's ends.
I think we're going to set a new intention, okay, where you're going to start setting some boundaries and you're going to reclaim your self sovereignty, okay? And
Yeah.
that's
Been doing for the last. It was funny because that is what I started doing, and then I started seeing things on YouTube. I was like, yes, I'm a sovereign being. I have cleared the Anunnaki. I have cleared the Matrix.
Yeah, I mean, I think I do pretty big work, even though I'm a no name and nobody knows who I am. But I think I do
My.
some pretty big work. But I don't get attacked by I don't get attacked by the reptilians, okay? Because I have the Arcturian bubble around me, okay?
Okay. Okay.
So the Arcturians are protecting me for some reason, and I think maybe it's because you are a parallel soul. You haven't established that protection, and I want to bring that divine protection back for you. Where you become divinely protected. You can do whatever you want to do. That's going to
Right.
be of the light. That's going to be,
Okay.
and
Okay.
and you're not going to be attacked anymore.
Okay.
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 Because right now I think you're kind of like this lone. You're this lone little Andromeda Galaxy soul that's kind of bouncing around between these different star systems, and now you're on Earth and you're dealing with all the bullshit. And I mean, you're like transmuting massive amounts of energy, okay?
Yeah.
Transmuting it. No wonder you want to die. I mean, that's a lot of freaking work. I mean, that's
Yeah,
like,
it's nonstop work, and then just to get no rewards and have things get harder and harder, and all the promises, all the teases. Oh my God, the spiritual teases, like, oh, stop teasing me, just stop it, stop bringing in. Oh, this will be the great thing that really helps you, ha ha ha, or the thing that knocks you down really hard, chronically. There's chronic, like, oh, you didn't even know how perfect of a manifestation you were asking for. Here it is. Yeah, no, just kidding, not really. Oh,
well, we're going to change that, okay?
yeah.
I do want to set an intention in the records that you will start receiving the divine protection from the Mother Goddess energy, because that's who you're really
Thank you.
connected with, okay?
Yeah, yeah.
You're no longer going to be the lone little soul shard that's getting bounced around like a ping
Yeah.
pong ball. You're going to move forward. I mean, I was in group therapy once, and they had us write like our life story and all the stuff that happened to us. And and so I was reading my life story, and people were like, "How are you not insane?" And I
Okay.
said,
Yeah.
"Well, I don't take this stuff personally. It's not me." And it's just things that happen to me, but it's not me. There's a level of detachment that I think us, especially us higher galactic souls, have to start establishing, okay, where it's like, okay, stupid bullshit happens, but that's not me. That's
And that is part of it. I mean, one of the things that a long, long time ago, but it's come up a lot as my life just keeps getting harder and harder. Is that I know that one of the mission of this lifetime, one of my personal missions versus like I'm the Sophia here to redeem all humankind for everybody and rebuild the Tree of Life and the Galactic Heart at the same time. That part of my work is to know myself from within and not from what is reflected back at me from this world.
exactly, exactly.
And I do. So I mean, that's part of it. Like I've worked, I sign up for something and I think I'm working with this woman, and then she's like, "Oh, and here's your mentor, so you really get to work with her." And the woman's like, "Oh, I'm not even really interested in the twin flame. I just believe if you love yourself, then everything falls into place." And I'm like, "Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit, bullshit." Because you know who is such a fun, wonderful, evolved, kind, caring, conscientious, delightful person? Me. I give myself a solid A for being me. My life story, D minus. Like D minus. Like, what the heck? It's not about loving yourself. It's not that simple.
No, and I hate when people use those platitudes, you
Well,
know.
I know. I do too.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, or, oh, if you just, they always say that bullshit, like, oh, if you
I
just
know.
think about it, it's just going to manifest and everything's
This
going to be
law of
beautiful.
attraction, if you're always positive in your thoughts, then only good things can find you. I'm like, it's not that simple.
Well, you know what? It was that kind of thinking that got the Pleiadians in a lot of trouble.
Oh,
Okay.
interesting. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, oh yeah, they were so focused on the light, they didn't want to see the dark. And
Okay.
so they had, I think, groups of Pleiadians that broke off and became rogue Pleiadians, and they
Huh.
joined up with the Orions because they wanted to experience their dark side. And I've dealt with souls like that too that have been trying to redeem themselves from lifetimes of being rogue Pleiadians. And
Okay.
because they were doing the same bullshit that they're teaching people here, like,
Yeah. Well,
oh, you can't look at your shadow self, you can't look at anything dark, you just gotta, oh, everything's love and light, love and light. And
but it's part of my, I live in the galactic world, and there's some of the fifth dimensional stuff. I'm like, you guys, do you recognize how dualistically you're communicating right now?
yeah, exactly. So they're
Oh my
they're
God,
actually,
dualism
compromising.
all sucks. Like,
Yeah, no, they're actually compromising themselves.
and there's
So
great beauty here in the third dimension. We've just got to clear out this false patriarchic matrix.
yeah.
It's if you let the false ego that's me versus you, or I only can succeed if you don't. It's the competition. But it's not the ego.
No, it's not about the ego. And actually, a lot of people don't like hearing this, but the reptilians are actually, I would say alternate aspects of ourselves that we haven't quite integrated yet.
Well, it's really interesting because I'm like, I know I'm a reptilian too. I mean, so
No, you've incarnated as
yeah,
reptilian. No, I've
yeah,
seen that. You've done that in Orion. You've done that
yeah.
in Draco. I've seen that in the records. Yeah.
And part of it is because I do know I've got root energy as part of the elemental energy is the dragon.
Yeah.
And part of the way I do come to terms with like the fire, the fire, the fire when I'm like in meditations, I'm like, oh, I am being forged in dragon's fire. Like for whatever it's worth, I don't know where I'm going with all of this. Yes, no, maybe, kind of some. I mean, I had one woman tell me that I was being groomed to be the androgynous president of the new universal order. And I was like, wow, I was kind of a little bit more close to home with this, but that's an interesting that's a goal that my soul is moving towards. Great. But it's a weird piece that now bounces around in the background because I'm like, yeah, maybe. Okay, I am very uniquely unusual, and I certainly have a lot of kind of, I'm 100% dedicated to divine feminine, but I certainly have some masculine oomph in me, and particularly when I tap into those reptilian energies, boy, I am powerful. And my physical power, I'm a big, powerful being, that's just being squished out of existence by a life that is so boring and negating and hard work for no reward.
Let's turn that around. I love doing readings like yours because it makes me think, it makes me expand my, instead of the typical starseed story, so yes. So I like the challenging readings.
It would be so much easier.
No, I like the challenging readings because then it makes me really look into the records. But it's been such a pleasure doing this reading for you. I'm so honored to help you piece the puzzle pieces together maybe a little better. So
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
you're a magnificent being. You're here doing big work, and you're not getting any credit for it. And
Nope.
yeah, it's
Time I get some credit. It's time my rewards. I am so ready for some return on my investment.
oh no, you'll get some returns. Yeah.
Okay, sweet lady.
Okay, you take care of yourself.
Thank you so